Okay. Uh-oh. Wonder why is it so loud like that? The feedback. Is that me? Is that my feedback or yours?
I have mine turned all the way down, but
Okay, let's put this over here. I'm gonna put this over there like that. It may not be still on feedback, but
okay.
we can say hello to the people because we are actually on live. So welcome to
Hey.
on the block. We are talking about Shadow into Shine tonight, and I am on with my guest, Priscilla Q. Williams. And before I even go further, let me just say I have to be very transparent in telling you that Priscilla Q. Williams is my bestie sister friend. So I have to say that. So this, I'm so extremely proud of you. And,
Aw, I'm proud of you too.
and it's like the little sister that just keeps like that butterfly theme that you talked about all those years ago. Everything
Hmm.
that you spoke over your life has all come to me, and that is what I really want to share with people tonight. So if you're joining, I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude to my Instagram viewers who are on. Hello, hello, hello. What
Hello.
about tonight is how we step out of the shadows and into shine. And Priscilla is so many people who have this burning desire in their belly. They have this calling, this gift.
Hmm.
They're experts, they are thought leaders, they're creatives, they're builders, and they are still hiding in the shadows. They spend their days watching people like you and I, listening to podcasts, going from YouTube person to YouTube person, podcast to podcast person, and they never themselves um, share their gifts. They never
Hmm.
they never take into account that somebody could learn from them. And so they just hide out, hoping and praying that somebody recognizes them, hoping and praying that somebody gives them permission or gives them an opportunity. I just want you to show how I think your story will show how when you give yourself permission, when you
Yes.
when you recognize what God has given you, that He's already given you all the ability, all of the power, the permission, everything. When He's done that for you, how your life changes.
Yes.
And so you can briefly tell people, we're going to come back to it, but I do want you just to tell people like what your life looks like right now. And then we're going to go back to where it was, what I like to call the shadow days. So if you could tell people what the shine looks like now, I want you to do that.
Okay. Well, first, Lakeisha, I want to say thank you for having me on Move Beyond the Block. And is it a feedback? We're okay?
I don't hear one.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. I just thank you for having me on as your special guest. That means a lot to me. And so, the same way how you saying you're proud of me, I'm proud of you. And Lakeisha, it's so amazing when I think back and look over my life. Sometimes I even have to pinch my own self because I've seen so many just revolving things happen over the years, so many doors open, and just my mindset change, right? And so now your question is, what does my life look like now? Really, Lakeisha, my life looks unapologetic, seriously. Like I'm not apologizing for the opportunities. I'm not apologizing for the blessings. I'm not apologizing for moving in the space that God has given me. And before, and I know we'll talk about it, but before I was really limited and stuck, and I didn't feel like this was even possible for me. So I currently work as a registered nurse. I'm a global nurse educator. I currently work for one of the top biopharmaceutical companies in the world. I'm a district trainer for my company, so I train and educate other nurses in my district and on my team. I'm also what they call a senior nurse educator. I was recently promoted to a senior nurse educator. I'm a certified life coach. I am also an author, an international speaker, and I am a recently new real estate investor. And so I believe that all of these things that I'm experiencing now is because of the work that I did prior to this. And so it took some mindset work. It took some really digging deep. It took me to really push past the block, as you say, Lakeisha, push past those barriers that tried to keep me stuck and limited. And I really just had to live the life that God truly desires for me to live. And it's just not for me to live, but it's also for all of us to live a life of abundance. And so abundance doesn't mean that everything goes smooth because, hey, Lakeisha, you know me personally, you know, things definitely don't go smooth, right? But what I've learned is that even when you have those setbacks and even when you have those hiccups and even when you have those moments where you like, God, like what is going on? Why am I not seeing things happen? It's really one of those places where you really have to just trust the process. And so that's where I am now. I'm just trusting the process and I'm being this bold woman that he's called me to be.
And I won't put out there, I won't put your personal business out there, but I'll just say that your profession is a very comfortable profession. You are compensated very nicely for
Hmm.
what you do. Um,
Hmm.
but your growth, like you ascended.
Hmm.
When looking back, I know that that started, that trajectory started once you decided that you would tell your story. Once
Hmm.
you decided that you would speak on the failures and your journey, that
Hmm.
propelled you so far. So can you feel like what that was like where your beginnings were? Got you to propel and in position so that someone could find you who was all the way in Dubai or doing programmings.
Hmm.
A woman that was in Africa could find you to travel
Hmm.
to Dubai. How did these things take off?
Yeah. I think it was really a thing that I often use or I often say is that when a student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so I think that I was at a place in my life where, you know, again, I failed out of nursing school. So nursing didn't come easy to me, right?
Mhm.
I had a lot of setbacks in my life. So things did not come smooth for me by far. Like it just did not. I was one of those people that everything always was a challenge. And when I think about it now, though, it really helps me appreciate where I am. So I don't take for granted any of the things I experience now. So prior to, you know, speaking in Dubai and speaking as a keynote speaker at Howard University and, you know, writing books and all of that, I was a little girl growing up on the south side of Chicago, went to Chicago public schools, Finger High School. Um, I was one of those young people who always dreamed big, Lakeisha. I always dreamed, had big dreams, but I didn't know how to. I didn't have anybody to help me, you know, tune into those dreams and make them reality. And so I can remember back in the eighth grade writing my first book. And I remember them turning that book into a play in my eighth grade year. I remember them choosing me as a young author, and my parents took me to Springfield, Illinois, to represent my entire district at the Chicago Public Schools. And I was the only young woman, only young girl of color. And I remember seeing everybody there that didn't look like me, and it was intimidating. I was fearful. I'm like, well, you know, it was kind of one of those things like, what am I doing here? And I say all that to say that I was dreaming even at that young age. But then when I got older and when some life things happen, you stop dreaming as much. And so that's what I had to kind of push through that piece. And then I ran across a woman by the name of Monique Caradine Kitchens, who just kind of opened my mindset. Now, at this point, I was working as a nurse. You know, I was working at Northwestern University giving chemotherapy.
So let me pause you right there because the working as a nurse then and what working as a nice nurse now in your shine looks like two different days for you. So what was
Mhm.
your work day like when you were there in the shadow? What was your work day like?
So my work day was getting to work at 7 a.m. Well, first getting up at 5 a.m. so I can get to work by 7 a.m. catching the train down to Northwestern, walking from the train station to the hospital, and then when I get to the hospital, now I'm on my feet and I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, right? I could barely urinate, go to the bathroom. I barely had time to eat lunch. I ran, I ran, I ran. One patient come, the next one come, and it just was a revolving door. And I remember sitting at my desk many a days from being just exhausted and tired. And sometimes tears will run down my face because I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired.
How
But
many hours? How many hours were you there?
I was there about 8 to 9 hours. So, because nurses never get off on time when you in a facility or a hospital setting. If it's any nurses listening, you know you never get off on time. And so it was just long days. And guess what? By the time I would get home in the evening, Lakeisha, it was time to get in the bed, get my uniform ready for the next day. And so this was constantly going on. And I knew that there was more. I knew that I had a desire to do more, but I didn't even know that other opportunities were out there. And then when I joined and hired a coach, and I joined that mastermind group with you and Iris, and Monique began to just kind of share with us the possibility, bold, fearless, and fabulous, what that means.
Yeah.
The blinders came off. And then opportunities began to just come to me. Like I began to see a whole new world. I began to see that there were opportunities where you can work and you don't have to work that hard. Like you can work as a nurse, but you don't have to run around like a chicken with your head cut off, right? You can work and you don't have to worry about not being able to eat lunch or go to the restroom, right? And so I say all that to say, I didn't know other possibilities were open. I just didn't know that until after investing in myself, hiring a coach, being around like-minded people like you and Iris, and just being able to see something different. When I saw something different, then I began to attract different opportunities.
And I love that, Priscilla. One thing that I love about you so much is how transparent you are. Like you tell that story about, failing out of nursing school. You tell the story about Donnie and having a child with juvenile diabetes. And you talk so transparently about those things. But I love the fact that you take advantage of the platform to share. So you're not just sharing it at the beauty salon, or with your family or your girlfriends, but you're sharing it on platforms where other people can be inspired. Somebody can hear your story, not know you, and be inspired. I remember you had that before podcasts were out. You had that radio show. Remember that? You had a radio
program. Yes.
You had no
radio.
Yeah, you had no background in radio. So what would make you decide that you should be on the radio?
So I think for me, Lakeisha, I found this new way of living, right? I found this new freedom. I found this new mindset. And so I was so excited and so zealous, Lakeisha, that I wanted to tell the world. I wanted to shout it from the mountaintops, like, oh my God, right? And so I began to want to put together women's conferences, and I began to want to host radio shows. And I remember starting on Blog Talk Radio on my computer. I would interview people and just talk to them over the phone and just share information, because I know that I found this new thing in my life and I wanted to share it with others. I wanted others to feel that same way I felt. And so I had begun to enter into a whole new world, and I wanted others to see that there's a whole new world for them too. And so that doesn't mean a career or a job or a business. It could just be a whole way of thinking, a whole new way of thinking. That's, something as simple as that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I always want people to know, because, everybody has their own ideal of what shine looks like for their life, right?
Yeah.
Some people think shine is, just getting the bag, right? And having the money and wealth building and having your bank account at a comfortable level. That's shine for some people. Other ways of shine is getting the recognition, right? Getting acknowledged for the work you do. Other forms of shine is just attention. Other forms of shining, opportunities to speak, something you've
Yeah.
always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Other form, whatever it is in life that you want, that you feel like you don't have, that when
Yeah.
you don't have shine in your life, it
Yeah.
it places you in an opportunity to be envious of other people,
Mm-hmm.
resentful of other people who are shining and who
Right.
do exude, like you said, that zeal and that
Yeah.
love for life and that joy. And
Mm-hmm.
you find that even when you're not trying to, you find yourself being resentful, or that
Mm-hmm.
great monster of envy comes in
Yes.
because you're not living up to that thing.
Mm.
So I wanted you to talk a little bit about that, like about the fact that how were you feeling, Priscilla? Um, Before, like you said, you would sit at your desk and cry tears right
Mm-hmm.
before you met Monique, and you were in the audience when you met Monique. What
Mm-hmm.
were you feeling like? Were you afraid?
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the things you had to push through before you would say, like, I'm gonna take the step to move
Mm-hmm.
from where I am and go after what I want?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. So, Lakeisha, I remember when Monique was standing on that stage and talking about being bold, fearless, and fabulous at a women's conference that I went to. I had just lost my child, so I had a stillborn at the time. And this was the first event or first time I was kind of getting out the house and trying to get back in my routine, get back to kind of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling fearful. I was feeling resentful. I was feeling angry. I was really feeling this place of it made me think about my life when I experienced losing a child. It really made me think what am I doing and what is it that I want to do. So I began to really think. I had an experience where it was one of those situations where it was an emergency, and I remember like just feeling like, okay, God, you gave me another chance. My blood pressure was off the charts, all this stuff. And I just felt like this place of like, okay, it's something I should be doing. Like I'm not here just to be existing, right? And so when Monique was up there speaking that day about being bold, fearless, and fabulous, and going after the things you want, being bold, pushing past fear and pushing past that comfort zone and getting into the bold zone, Lakeisha, it was like she was talking directly to me. As she was talking, tears are coming down my eyes. And I remember I was sitting next to some people from my church at the time. And she said, meet me at the back of the room and sign up. And I want to work with you ladies. And so I sat there and I didn't move out my seat, Lakeisha. I was looking at what everybody else would think about me if I got up and went to go sign up for a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat there, and Lakeisha, it was almost like something pushed my butt out that seat. And I said, I don't know what coaching is. I don't know anything about this woman. But all I know is I need what she talking about. And I went and signed up on her list, and the rest was history. The
And
rest is history.
the rest is history, and it's all because when you know that you feel a burning, you feel something telling you life is not what I want it to be right now. My life is not where I am happy, where I am ecstatic to jump out of the bed in the morning. I'm looking forward to the day. i'm
Yeah,
I'm pushing snooze a million times.
yeah,
I'm hiding from phone calls. I'm
yeah,
not producing at work. I'm just barely doing enough just to get the paycheck, or doing just enough to maintain. I'm
yes,
not thriving. I don't feel like I'm thriving.
yeah,
And you just, as you said, existing. So you already feel that. And then
right.
as soon as you said, like you said, you see something or you hear something that plucks at you,
Mhm.
and you know it's for you, but
Yes,
then the natural thing happens. Fear happens, right? Your ego
hmm,
tries to tell you, no,
hmm,
you good. Why you gonna try to do something over there that ain't for you? Look at who the
yes,
people are. You can't really fit in. So you start doubting yourself. You start
yes,
feeling imposter syndrome. You start feeling
yes,
all of those things, but you feel those things, but you uncomfortable feeling those things, but you also uncomfortable and miserable and unhappy over here. So what you gonna do? You have
right.
to bust a move. You got to make a decision.
That's it.
And you know that when you feel those things, right on the other side. I mean,
Mm,
right on the other side of that
right
decision.
there. Yes.
As soon as you make that decision,
Mm,
it just opens up for you.
yes, Lakeisha. It's so funny you said that. My first book that I wrote that's on Amazon, it's called The One Decision That Changed My Whole Life.
Yeah.
Literally, one decision. The one decision to hire a coach literally changed my world. And I say that to say that, again, I felt like there was more to my life than just going to work and coming home. Going to work and coming home, get ready for the next day. Go to work, come home, get ready for the next day.
Mhm.
And so you continue to get in this cycle of go to work, come home, and get ready for the next day. When God has so much more than us just going to work and coming home and getting ready for the next day. Even if we have a job, the reality is we have to tap into the power He's given us, the purpose He's given us outside of the job. The
Mhm.
job is nice, right?
Mhm.
My purpose is not just to be a nurse.
Right.
My purpose is to change and impact people's lives. So, however I impact their lives, I can impact it with my speaking, with my books, with my podcast, with my real estate investing. However, I need to impact them. My purpose is to impact somebody else. And if we not doing that, you feel incomplete. And
Incomplete.
that's what I was feeling, Lakeisha, incomplete. Going to work, coming home. Going to work, coming home.
And
That's
that's
not
what
going to cut
and
it.
that's what the shadow does. That's what it is. Hanging out in the shadow is incompletion.
Yeah.
That feeling of
Yeah.
emptiness, that feeling of not having enough, not
Yes.
being fulfilled. You're just stagnant.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
People are there because it's the comfortable thing, but it can't be comfortable when you're dreading everything. It can't be comfortable when you're filling that time up by listening to somebody else's dreams and watching
Yes.
somebody else live their dream, and you're
Yes.
constantly filling that void because you want to be you the things you want. You'll follow everybody else that has them, but
Yeah.
you won't live it for yourself.
Mm.
You won't live it for yourself. You'll follow and look at everybody else's Instagram. You'll
That's
follow and
it.
watch everybody else's YouTube. You'll subscribe and listen to everybody else's podcast, but you
Yes.
won't experience that shine, that feeling of completeness, that
Completeness.
fullness, that gloriousness. You won't feel it
Yes.
for yourself. You won't
Yes.
experience it. And here's the thing, Priscilla, that you said, you talked about nursing and like your job as a nurse. That's not your only thing. But here's
Mm-mm.
the thing, nursing, though, is the gift that God gave you to make room for all those other things. Because
Mm-mm.
what's the name of your podcast?
The Nurses Prayer Podcast.
The Nurses Prayer Podcast. So you're talking about nursing for nursing.
Yes.
Your real estate business that you just started is for what?
For nurses.
It is real estate
Travel nurses.
travel nurses that do what you do. They have a place.
Yes.
So your gift has literally opened the doors for you to make an impact in the same field that God gifted you with.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you let's just say you are someone who is a baker and you
Mhm.
bake cakes, right?
Yeah.
And you may working at
Yes.
bakery, or you may be working at the grocery store and the bake shop, and Jules has a little baking center. You may be
Yes.
doing that, or you may just be the designated birthday cake maker for the
Mhm.
birthdays of your family or your church, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That same gift God gave you, though,
Mm. Yeah.
same gift that can help somebody else who is struggling, that person
Yeah.
who could never own anything. They never knew that they could
Mm.
own anything. There's some little girl that's sitting there
Mm.
with this thing. She's baking cookies and cakes right now.
Mm.
And
Mm.
for you to step out of your shadow and
Yeah.
go full out after what you want,
Yeah.
share that little girl sees that, or that
Yeah.
woman that's 60 years old sees
Yes.
that and says, maybe
Yes.
I can do that too.
Mm.
And not only that, the people who maybe have some eating disorders, or they have some
Mm.
allergies, or they need to eat vegan foods, and the
Yeah.
way you cook the way you bake your cakes is
That's
healthy.
it.
So now,
Yeah.
even though I have diabetes type 2, or even though I
Yeah.
have all these other issues, I can still enjoy
Mm.
goods because this woman, this man, whoever it is, has decided
Yes.
to use their gift.
Mm.
And Priscilla, right? Because our goals and our vision for ourselves is never what God intends. We
No.
don't here thinking like this, right?
Yes.
This is our goal, right? This is our dream.
Yes.
God is like, did you see that big old elephant in the Sahara?
Right. Did you see what I got?
That's what I got for you. And you like, I'm gonna hold on to this little dream, my little vision. God, like, what is that?
Exactly.
But all you have to do is acknowledge it. That's what you have to do. Give yourself permission. God is waiting for you to say, okay, I will. I'll use everything you gave me. I'll step out on faith. Because Priscilla, this is COVID 2020. When did you open your business? When did you open your real estate business?
So we started our real estate business December 2020. And we're in February 2021 now.
Wait. You opened a business. Cost money because you had to invest in that business.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You mean to tell me that you were able to start a business in the middle of a global pandemic and a so-called recession?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So people are building wealth. People are moving into their shine in life in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
Simply because you believe that you deserved it and you stepped out.
Yes, absolutely. And not only that, Lakeisha, when you think about this pandemic, what it did for me, and I know it did this for a lot of other people, is it made me think what's really important. It also made, and I also had a surgery in the middle, recovering from a major surgery. Wow, I started this business, right? And so I say all of that to say it made me really think about what's important and what happens if I can't work as a nurse again. What happens if I can't coach another nurse? What happens if I can't write another book? What happens if I can't travel to speak? What happens if I can't record a podcast, Lakeisha? Because as I just stated, I recovered from a surgery, and it made me realize in this pandemic, all the lives that were lost in this pandemic, but God left us here, Lakeisha. He left us here for work that we have to do. So I began to think, okay, God, give me what it is that you would have for me to do in this season, because we still have to pivot and live in the pandemic, right?
That's right.
And so I always had a desire to do real estate. I always talked about doing real estate, but God said it's time to take action. And so what I began to do is say, wait a minute, I'm left here for a reason. I'm left here for a purpose. I'm not left here just to exist. God didn't say, oh, you so good, I'll leave you here in the middle of this pandemic. I won't allow you to leave. No, it don't work like that.
It don't work like that.
Because when my time is up, right? Exactly. Go ahead.
And when our time is up, this is the other thing. When your time is up, people are leaving this earth every day.
Every day.
Time is up. What is it? What do people have to say that you contributed outside of just your day-to-day existence? What have you contributed that feeds the next generation? We're in the middle of Black History Month. What is it about your life that is contributing to the progression of our people, the progression of your family? So when someone looks back 50 years from now, they'll say, there lived a lady, right? Who was my great aunt, my cousin, my whatever, who did this thing. Or will you be a face in the photo album to say, oh yeah, that was cousin so and so?
Yes.
What did cousin so and so do? And how do I find cousin so and so? Because this is the thing. There are platforms that are for us to really shine. Like you talked about your podcast, Priscilla. Because I was there and I was a witness. You tell me if I'm wrong. I think that the opportunities that came to you, even the housing, came to you because you utilized those platforms so that you could be Googleable. So somebody could know who, when somebody talked about the dope nurses, when they talk about Black nurses, your name is going to pop up. So no matter if I'm all the way in Kenya, if I'm in Nairobi, if I'm in Ghana, I can find Priscilla Q. Williams talking about being a nurse and educating nurses.
Wow. Lakeisha, that's so dope.
But If I'm just going every day to my job and then going home at night to listen to
Mhm.
somebody else's podcast while I go to sleep or get ready for
Yeah.
bed,
Mm-hmm.
who knows me?
Whoa, sis, that's so deep. It's so funny you said that. Somebody sent me an inbox on Instagram, and they are from Brazil, and they said they listened to the podcast,
Look,
and so they said thank you for this podcast, and it says I love how you shout out our countries. And so when I do my podcast, I just shout out Kenya and Brazil and
look
Colombia and
at that.
Canada and Israel.
Listen, you don't have to even leave. You don't even have to leave your living room to be globally connected simply
No,
because you utilize the digital platforms. What
yeah,
if? I know I said bakers, but I mean, there's a woman right now who wrote a book in
yeah,
2000, and that book is not online anywhere.
mhm,
Right? She wrote it when fax machines were still going. So somebody needs to be able to find her and all of that knowledge that she has.
yes,
There's
yes.
someone right now who um,
Mm,
I just think of all my brilliant friends and everything that they can do. Like there's
yeah.
someone right now who can just design a whole home,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Who can construct buildings. There's somebody that
Yes.
can tell you all about stock tips. There's somebody that can do
Yes.
everything. There's somebody that can put you together with community events.
Yes.
Where can people find you?
Yes.
What is the onus for people to find you? I'm laughing at these people in the background. But it's just this is a real it hits me deeply, Priscilla, because I know
Yes.
it's like, being a producer for radio and
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
I know what it's like to be the person that's behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
For so long I was behind the scenes, and I was
Mm,
only being behind the scenes because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And it
mm.
took a friend of mine to say, she actually point blank, she said, well, where the hell is your story?
I love it.
Somebody needs to be interviewing you.
Mm,
And this was way back like in 2000, early 2000s when she said this.
mm, mm,
And I thought about that. And I have to tell you that there were times when I was resentful and I was envious, like, dang,
mm,
I'm doing
mm.
all this. I'm really, I was like, I'm really the person putting this together just because they the host. I'm the one that did, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And so I
Mm.
then began to say, you can't be mad if you don't put yourself out there. You
You
can't be
can't.
mad that nobody is acknowledging you. You can't be
Mm,
mad if people don't call upon you. Like, this is not recess. This is not
mhm.
gym class in fifth grade. You don't have to
Yes.
wait for the team captain to call on you and get you on their team. Create
Yeah.
your own team. Create
Yeah.
your own opportunity.
But you know what, Lakeisha? When you hide like that, when people hide, they're hiding because of fear. They haven't really stepped into the ownership of who they are. Because I used to hide. Because
Mm-hmm.
it was one of those things where you can't tell nobody you want to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
Like on growing up on the south side of Chicago, going to Finger High School. Like I said, I did eighth grade. I wrote my little book and stuff. But when you get in the midst of everything, and depending on the circle you around, the people around me weren't writing books, Lakeisha. I was listening to Mr. Les Brown in high school. Okay. One of my friends listening to Les Brown, Lakeisha. One of my
Mm-hmm.
friends looking at, oh, do you know I was the only child for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I would play by myself, and I would act like I'm on an interview, being interviewed by Oprah Winfrey. So I would sit in my bedroom, and I would sit on the chair, and I'll say, yes, thank you, Oprah, for having me. And I would do all this stuff by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had nobody to play with at the time. But what would even make me think of those things
Yeah.
back then? I say all that to say these things were started as seeds way when I was younger. But you need somebody to pull those things out. And depending on who you're around, we limit ourselves. We walk in fear because the people around us not showing up. So we're not going to show up.
Ooh, you need to say that. Everybody playing in the shadows.
Everybody playing in the shadows.
In the shadows. You it. Ain't nobody shining.
Ain't nobody shining
In the
because you
shadows
walking in fear. Because listen, you comfortable with the people that's average. But Lakeisha, I started getting uncomfortable because I wanted more.
Mhm.
God was beginning to show me multimillionaires. God was beginning to show me people who own businesses. God was beginning to show me people who on stages, and he began to put me in circles where people were living extraordinary. So
Yep.
I knew I could no longer settle for average, Lakeisha,
Yep.
because I'm not average.
A gift will make room for you, and we are not average. Nobody is
No,
average.
no, no.
Everybody is supernatural. But if you don't tap into that, if you don't tap into that supernatural gift, that's how you will feel. And when you
Yes,
in shadows and you playing in the shadows, if
yeah.
you never move out of that, if your network never ever changes, whenever
Mm-mm.
you do dare to try to step out,
Yes.
everybody's gonna pull you back, backbiting, so much negativity, toxism, gossiping. That's the circle because that's the whole energy. But when you shining and you in the light and
Mm.
everybody's in their path, everybody wants you to feel some of that shine.
Yes.
Everybody wants you to, they trying to pull you over there with them. Like, come on in over here
Yes.
with me. Come on,
Yes.
sis. Priscilla, I don't know how many times you share opportunities
Mm.
and just open your arms. That I mean, literally, you are one of the most open
Mm.
people I know, the most
Thank you,
open
sis.
giving people I know, who will just
Thank
say,
you. Thank
just with no pretense, no nothing.
you.
And here's the thing about people, also about the to being in the shadow. Like, you're afraid that we're from the south side of Chicago, right? So you're
Mm-hmm.
afraid that you don't talk the correct King's English. You afraid that, your hair is not perfect, your makeup isn't
Mm-hmm.
perfect. You're afraid
Yep.
you don't got the right tools, you don't have the right
Yep.
microphone, you don't have the right video,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have
Mm-hmm.
the right this, you don't have the right that, you don't have the right zip code. It's a million things that will
Mm.
never ever be right or perfect, but the perfect thing is you. God
Yes.
instilled the gift in you already.
Yeah.
So I want you to
Mm.
talk a little bit more, Priscilla. There was a thing that our coach Monique said to me, and she said, you're a builder,
Mm.
and
Yes.
builders often do things before other people. Builders, everybody's not there when the builder starts building. They're not.
Yeah.
Nobody's there when the builder just has the hammer, the nail, and the wood.
Yeah.
People come when it's already built, when there's a room to take them to, they can do a grand tour of the space. But when that
Mm.
first nail goes in the ground, most people are not there. And so
Mm.
I'm just talking to you, whoever is listening,
Mm.
Priscilla, that you may be rebuilding your life. You may be starting completely new. This time of COVID may have tapped you and said, hey,
Mm.
it's time for you to build a new thing. It's time for you to reconstruct your life. It's time for you to move into this season.
Mm.
And while it may seem hard and it may seem lonely, and you may
Mm.
feel like you know how to do it, there are people like myself, people like Priscilla, who
Mm.
say to you, take my hand.
Yes.
Take my hand. I will guide you. I will help you. I will give you the answers. I'll help you identify. A mastermind. I love for you to talk about what that is for people, because there's so many people who think they don't know something and they have to know all the answers. Priscilla,
Mm.
how many things have we just said we want to do, and we didn't have a clue how it was going to be done?
No.
It came together simply because of a mastermind.
Yes. Well, first of all, Lakeisha, I feel like you are a perfect example of this, because I remember when me and you first connected in our mastermind group. I remember you clearly saying you wanted to write a book, and it was going to be for young girls, and you didn't even really communicate, or maybe you didn't realize it at the time, the work that you would be doing with young girls in the community.
Because I didn't know. I had no clue. That was not on my radar. That was nowhere near my radar. Starting an organization?
Yeah. Wait a minute. And so let's talk about your shine for a minute. I know how you are. You always giving out other people's shine. But I want to say your shine, like you accepting grants, thousands of dollars, hundred thousands of dollars. You have been able to go to Africa. You've been able to change girls' life, Lakeisha, because of the work that you decided to do back in 2011. When we would sit down and strategize at a table with me, you, Iris, and Monique Caradine Kitchens, you said yes to what God was tugging you to do. And now look at your organization. You have brought in thousands of dollars for girls around the world, holding Girl Day of the Girl, recognition that's worldwide, being on Steve Harvey, writing books, changing lives, breaking barriers. So I want to tell you, you push so far beyond the block that you have changed young girls and women lives. So that's what a mastermind to do for you.
That's what a
Mastermind is women coming together, or men coming together, or men and women
yes.
coming together on a like mind, that you are coming and you are inspiring each other, you pouring into each other, you're giving each other ideas, you building legacy, you're seeing beyond the block.
Yes.
That's what a mastermind gonna do for you, like Lakeisha Gray-Sewell over here.
And so I'm not well, anytime I get together with my friends, you already know how
I know.
Don't tell me nothing you want to do, because if you tell me you want to do it, I won't believe you
to it,
and we gonna do it. If you playing games, you better not say it to me, because I'm like, yes. And so we're not hosting a mastermind, Priscilla, but I want people to know how, just using the digital tools, I want people to hear their stories and know that your story is the gateway to your shine. And if you just use these tools, podcasting, having a digital presence, so when somebody Google you, they're gonna find you. They're gonna find how they can get in contact with you, how they can book you for a stage, how they can find your book and get hundreds of copies of your book shipped out to Africa or wherever, right? Yes. I want people to know that how can somebody wants to support this thing, your cause, and they don't even know your cause exists. Here's the thing, Priscilla, and you know me. I don't share, like people think I share a lot on Facebook and social media. They don't even.
That ain't you. You're very private.
I'm very private. People don't even know. If you see something,
that's just what you want to share.
That's what I want you to see. The things that are sacred to me, I rarely share them. So, like for instance, you call me up and you send me something. I ain't gonna be all on Facebook saying my best friend sent me this all the way from Florida. That's never gonna make it onto Facebook. That's our personal thing, right?
Exactly.
Text. But I'm gonna share this, and I won't mention any names, but it's happened to me so many times. I'll do a live video, Priscilla. And after, I remember one time I did it following the movie Get Out.
Okay.
That's what the movie was. And someone who I hadn't spoken to in years, she called me in tears and said that whatever I said, I don't even know what I said. I be talking. Whatever I said impacted her so much, and it inspired her so much. She said, "Come and get this check I got for you."
Come on.
And it wasn't no little check. Okay. Another time, and this is just this week, I won't say who or what, and this just makes me want to cry, because you don't expect, you're not telling, you're not sharing or doing this, but to just do what God is directing you to do.
Yes.
And I got a inbox the other day and said, "Thank you for all the work you do for us."
Wow.
Meaning Black people.
Yes.
I'm sharing an opportunity with you. Take advantage of it. Fill out the information, right?
Yeah.
And what it was for something very nice. Just because. Now, this person and I don't talk every day. We're not even in the same state. So it's not that she and I are in communication. How does she know what I do?
Because you present.
Because I'm present and I'm utilizing digital technology.
Right.
And so I'm just inviting people to do that, Priscilla. That's what I want to invite people to go over to Shadow into Shine. I'm going to put the information at the bottom of this page. Go to shadowintoshine.com and I just want to hold your hand through this thing because I know there's fear. I know there's doubt. I know there's voices in your head from when you were a little girl telling you you're not good enough.
Mhm.
I know it's voices in your head saying, oh, but I don't have a degree in that, or I don't have enough money for this or that.
Mm,
And this is something that's on my spirit to say right now
mm,
because the
mm,
shadows for me was poverty, and I stayed in poverty for a very long time. And I wouldn't show up because of poverty because I always thought like I wasn't good enough or I didn't have this or have that. But I want to say to you, if there is an opportunity presented to you,
mm,
if there is something that you desire and your bank account may not reflect your ability to take advantage of it at the time, do not pass up on that opportunity because you think you don't have one phone call to say, Priscilla, I really want to take advantage of what you have to offer, but I
mm,
don't have it right now.
mm,
Don't
mm.
sit on the sidelines because you think you don't have what it takes.
Yes.
If you are someone's assignment, a way will
Woo.
be made.
Mm. Yes.
You are someone's assignment, a way
Mm,
will be made for you. God is not putting you in people's lives
mm.
by accident.
No.
None of us are connected by accident.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
There's no such thing as coincidence.
Yes.
It's all divinely orchestrated.
Mm.
You and I, oh my God, if people knew,
Ooh, if they only knew. Look
they
at-
only knew how divine
Mm.
this was.
Yes.
But I want you to tell people, Priscilla, because we're gonna get off of here. I know you still, even though you're not in the hospital every day, you still working and you doing
Yes.
so much. I want you to tell people where they can find you, what you got going on, and if they're a nurse and they're in the well, they can't book this one yet because you already booked it out. You just opened it last week and it's already booked out to your first nurse. I'm so freaking proud of you.
Woo.
I want you to tell people like where they can find you, what you got going on, all that good stuff.
Well, Lakeisha, first I want to say thank you for having me on Move Beyond the Block. Like this is so powerful, it's so rich, it's such good content. But people definitely could find me at PriscillaQWilliams.com. On all the social media sites, I'm the nurses coach. Now, this is what I want to say. You just mentioned about the power of digital, right? People reaching out to you, giving you things and moving you forward, right? So, Lakeisha, you just mentioned I just booked my nurse into the first, rental property that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But today, because of my digital presence, and I'll say this, because of relationships,
Yes.
we just locked in 3 more units. So we
Woo!
are ready to go. And so let me just say this. If it's a nurse traveling, you looking for a place to stay, maybe you're a business professional, you got to travel to Florida for work, or maybe you just need to get away, but you don't want to go to a hotel because, hey, you like COVID's still real, right? We still got to protect ourselves, but you want to be in a nice luxury place. And so, Lakeisha, the reason this opportunity came about because of a relationship that Curtis and I built with one of the property managers at one of the places we used to live.
Hmm.
And they are friends with me on social media. They're seeing the work that I'm doing with nurses and even starting this new, property corporate housing for travel nurses. And so we connected, and guess what? They like, hey, we want to work with you. We
Well,
want to partner with you to provide these houses for travel nurses. So I
because
say all that to say because of my presence and because of relationship, right?
yep. Because if you hadn't had a presence, a digital presence, you would have just been just another tenant living in their building in their properties. I mean, there's
Correct.
plenty of people living in the property, but were they
Come on.
able to connect and really feel or really see what you really do? Only
Yes,
way they did that is because of your digital presence.
absolutely.
I wish, listen, you don't know Priscilla Williams. I want you to follow her. Is her story, her life story is so layered, so
Hmm.
multifaceted, so inspiring. Buy her books, Priscilla. You got books all over the place. You got 5 books. So tell
I
the
ain't got 5 books, Lakeisha.
okay, 4. So tell the people the books you have.
Oh my God.
Where they
I
can,
love you. I love you. So I do have books available on Amazon. I have 3 books on Amazon, but I also have a book available on Barnes and Nobles. Or you can just, go right to Amazon and get the book. My newest book is Faith, Purpose, Pursuit. And that's really just all about moving in faith, going after your purpose, and being in pursuit of the things that God have on your life. And listen, the reality is, Lakeisha, I'm really just a servant. I want to serve people. I'm not one that's chasing a bag or chasing money,
yep,
because guess what? You can have a whole lot of money and don't have no peace. You can have a whole lot of money and be living in hell, right?
yep.
So I'm not chasing money and I'm not chasing the bag,
We not
but
the bag
I am
ladies.
chasing to serve people.
Right. We not the bag ladies. We not.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm chasing to serve people. And when so you can serve people in any capacity. That can be in your books, in your speaking, in your podcasting, in your what Lakeisha's doing, her lives, her work she's doing with girls, your television interviews, all that good stuff, right? One of the things that I hold near to my heart is my mentor in my head, Dr. Miles Monroe, before he passed. He said, I never want to die empty,
That's right.
right? And so this is the thing. I am one of those people where I want to litter. I don't want to leave this earth without completing what it is that I was assigned to do. And so whatever that assignment is, Lakeisha, I don't apologize for it.
That's
I'm
right.
not apologizing for it. One of the things that I want us to stop doing as women is saying, oh, well, you don't know my story. You don't know where I came from. Well, it took me a lot to get here. Yeah, that may be true. But
Mhm.
we don't have to apologize for the greatness that we in.
That's right. Cause it don't matter where we been. That was the condition. Who we are, our greatness has always been there. So it don't matter if you what condition you had to go through,
Yes,
with it or without it. When you got here on this earth, God had already assigned you everything He wanted you to have.
that's it.
So it don't matter.
Yes,
And the struggle life is not the life. That's not for everybody. Your assignment is yours and yours alone. So if
that's it.
you had a struggle free life, you better be proud of that struggle free life. You better be
Yes.
unapologetic, because
Unapologetic.
that's what everybody wants.
Yes,
If you were blessed enough to have it, then be like, you know what, you're damn right. That's
I,
what I had. Like
that's what I had.
that's it.
Right.
Right.
We don't have to apologize. We
Don't
just live
apologize.
in it. Just
Yep.
and I used to do that a lot, so that's why I said that.
Hmm.
Somebody say your blouse cute. Oh, girl, this blouse is only $20. No, like walk in what you are given and be okay with it.
All of us, Priscilla, we all have, this is the thing I want people to know. Like, everybody has insecurity, everybody has doubts,
Mhm.
everybody has that thing which that block they have to move beyond. And I
Yes,
would too. I would apologize for how I looked. I would apologize, try to not bring attention to myself. But I am. If I'm fly, I'm fly, right?
yeah,
If whatever I got, whatever I am, if I'm smart,
I
whatever,
love it.
that's me. And you
Yes,
are too. What you better find what it is in you and be unapologetic. But
unapologetic.
it's almost been an hour. I definitely want I know what I wanted to talk to you about. You spoke about stepping out on faith, but I
Yes.
want to, one thing about um, just because of us and our relationship, I always have to shout my brother Curtis out, because it's not you. There's just something about having that support,
Oh
having
yeah.
your husband there to support you, and
Yes.
here you going his dream. You
Yes.
were being a wife that wanted to support, just to simply support your husband's dream. But by being obedient to it,
Yeah.
you can go to the beach, you can go to the water and the ocean any day you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can wake up in that sunshine, and
Yeah.
your husband has always been there to support you as well. So I just want
Yes.
to shout my brother Curtis out. We know I got to shout him out. But
Yes.
and the business that you all have, they're businesses together.
Yes, a family business, a family business. And you know what, Lakeisha, that's so important because our family is truly the backbone of
Yeah.
everything we do. The same way how Barry supports you, your children, that makes a big difference
Yeah.
when you have your family support than trying to do this on your own, right?
Yep.
And so, you know, Curtis is working as a police officer. He's a frontline worker, right? And he's still running the real estate business. Some days we don't even know if we coming or going, right? But the reality is that we know we can't stop. One thing that Curtis shared with me that just stuck with me. He said, we've been so taught to work our jobs and just retire and look out for us. We go live our best life. We retire our jobs, we go move to Florida, live our best life, right? But the reality is, what about your children and your children and your children's
Yep.
children?
Yep.
And so it's only right that we set up a legacy so they don't have to go start over.
That's right.
And so I didn't have the opportunity to be born into money. Did you? Right? Right. So yeah, so the reality is if we can give our kids a leg up, even a little bit, like some kind of leg up, even if we leave them with a banking, insurance policy.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not leave our kids broke,
Yeah.
right? Let's leave them with some
Struggle.
substance.
Yeah. We're clearing the path. And not just and the thing is it's the immediate and the direct benefactors are your children and your generationally. But of course, there is also benefactors in the community, in the culture, because if someone can see you and I and they can see themselves in us, it can be a child or it can be our peer. If they can see something different than what they have by looking at us, then that makes them know that I can do this too.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I thank you for being an example. I thank you for saying yes. I thank you for saying yes to being on and being my guest.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
I swear COVID has really kept us. I think it was summer of 2019 when I was like, me and Barry may come down.
I know.
Just that fast. It turned on us. We was like, dang.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for you all.
Yeah.
I thought when I talk about shadowing to shine, you are one of the people that come to my mind to show people exactly what that looks like. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. And
Thank you, Lakeisha. I appreciate you. I love you, sis. I appreciate you for always pouring into me. And I gotta say this, Lakeisha, when you get a hold of information, you share so much information that I'm like, this girl don't stop sharing information. Because when you told me about that clubhouse, you wasn't gonna let me live that clubhouse now. I'm like, what is this girl talking about? I ain't thinking about no clubhouse.
how's
You
it work
saying
out
that
for
you
you?
on clubhouse? Is you on clubhouse?
How did it work out for you?
So Lakeisha, listen, clubhouse, man, that thing is the bomb.
I'm trying
When
to
I say I done met some key people, so we got listed on Nurses B&B, the Black nurse that just started the nurse corporate housing tech site, that came from Clubhouse. So I say, I'm like, Lakeisha kept telling me to get on Clubhouse.
I'm telling you, it's conversations with people that it ain't your regular conversation about Popeye's chicken sandwiches. It's
No.
some good. I mean, you can find some good connections and
Yes.
interactions. I mean, you meet people there and you do
Yes.
things offline, but that's where you go to meet. It's like going to a networking event. So
Yes.
I'm glad you came on there and you got something out of it. Because
You weren't gonna let it down, Lakeisha. You don't play. You wasn't letting it down.
if I find out something and I think it's a good thing, I'm not gonna pass on no BS. If I think it's a good thing, I'm gonna tell the world because I want us all to come. I want us all to just elevate and have at it. So thank you again. Thank you all for listening, for tuning in. Go and follow my sissy. Go follow her everywhere she is. Purchase her books. If you're looking to travel in the Florida, Jacksonville area, she has Airbnb spaces. Well, they're not Airbnb spaces, but they are.
Well, we are going to list some on Airbnb. So our target is travel nurses.
Okay.
But if you are a family or if you're coming to the Florida area, you want to come and get that book written. Somebody reached out to me about they want to write a book and they just need a nice, luxurious place to stay. Come on and hook us up. Look us up.
Come out and enjoy that fresh air, that fresh sun, and you ain't got to worry about being around all them tourists and all that other stuff. I love you so much. I'll be in touch. Tell Curtis and Donnie I said hello, and
I will. And tell Barry and the babies I said what up.
I will. Marquisa, I will definitely. All right, sis.
Okay.
Everybody. Um, all right, everybody. Well, just thank you for showing up. And what I'm going to do now is just tell you to go again to shadowintoshine.com, and you want to make sure that you are coming in. I just want to hold your hand through it and walk you through your digital legacy. Everything that you desire in life is waiting on the other side of your decision to just say yes to it. The decision to build upon your story, to let your story be the seed that you plant, the seed that you plant in fertile water right now. This is the time when it looks like the world is falling apart. It's falling apart so you can fill in those cracks and fill in those voids, so you can then move and shift yourself. I'm in a plant shop right now, right? And plants, when sometimes they just outgrow the pot that they are in. And that's what the world is telling us right now. We've outgrown some things. We've outgrown the life that we've been accustomed to. It's time to get up and move out that pot so you can get them roots going and you can grow bigger and stronger, right? And I just want to help you use the digital tools to be that new potting plant for you. There's so many ways that you can share your story, get the recognition, get the impact, get that credibility, and get those opportunities that are waiting just for a person that has your expertise. Only you can do it. So go into Shadow into Shine with me. We're going to spend all day Sunday together. You are going to walk away with your digital superpower, meaning you are going to walk away with knowing the platform that you shine best in. Is it YouTube? Is it podcasting? Is it blogging? What is it, the place that you shine in? You're going to walk away with that. You're going to walk away with a content calendar that helps you map out what you need to post every day, when you need to post it. You won't have to be frantically finding stuff to post. You're going to know it already. I'm going to help you identify that. You're going to know the tech tools that you need to have to do it, right? So what the apps are, what the hacks are, the devices you need. I'm going to help you identify those. And you're going to get some custom hashtags specifically correlating to your specific story and your message. We're going to get to what your core message is, right? Are you just a baker, or are you a baker who cooks and who creates alternative healthy desserts for those who are struggling with some health challenges? You're going to get to that core message. And I just want to hold your hand and walk you through it so that you don't have to struggle through it anymore. I want you all to have that shine in life. So thank you again for joining me. And I'll see you all next time.